As Europe faces an unprecedented economic and political crisis, a new narrative emerges in the corridors of power. The European continent, long a bastion of stability and prosperity, now seeks refuge in the vast African territories. But why this sudden change? Why is Europe now looking beyond its conventional borders for opportunities? In this video, we will delve deeper into the intricacies of the European crisis and the growing role of Africa, unveiling the reasons behind the sudden European interest in the African continent. The crisis that has plagued Europe for years remains an ominous shadow over the continent. What began as a series of isolated economic challenges has turned into a multifaceted crisis, shaking the foundations of the European Union. Once seen as a beacon of unity and cooperation, it now faces deepening division, exacerbated by political, economic, and social tensions. The impact of Brexit, the United Kingdom's historic decision to leave the European Union, is reverberating across the bloc, leaving scars and uncertainty in its wake. The development of the Brexit process exposed the weaknesses of the European Union's political and institutional structures, in addition to triggering a heated debate about the future of the European project. In addition to Brexit, the sovereign debt crisis in countries such as Greece, Italy, and Spain continues to be a source of concern, undermining the region's economic stability. Stagnant economic growth in many European countries, combined with high levels of unemployment and growing social inequality, fuels discontent among citizens and weakens the legitimacy of European institutions. At the same time, the resurgence of nationalist and populist movements across Europe adds an additional layer of complexity to the political landscape. These movements, often fueled by concerns about immigration, globalization, and loss of national sovereignty, challenge the traditional view of European integration and push for an approach more focused on nationalism and national autonomy. In this scenario of turbulence and uncertainty, Africa emerges as a possible source of relief for Europe. With its economic potential still largely untapped, Africa offers investment and growth opportunities that could help boost the European economy. However, the search for a way out of the European crisis through Africa is not without challenges and questions about the reasons behind this interest in the African continent. The African rise, opportunities on a changing continent. Throughout history, Africa has often been underestimated and misunderstood, but in recent years, we have witnessed a quiet revolution that is challenging these entrenched stereotypes. As the world's second-largest continent in terms of territory and population, Africa is emerging as a hub of economic growth and development, offering unprecedented opportunities for investors across the globe. The paradigm shift is palpable. With consistent economic growth rates, Africa is consolidating itself as one of the most attractive investment destinations in the world. This upward trajectory is driven, in large part, by a young and rapidly growing population, which represents a driving force for innovation, entrepreneurship, and consumption. The emergence of an expanding middle class is a testament to the continent's growth potential. Increasing purchasing power and demand for consumer goods are transforming African markets, creating lucrative opportunities for local and foreign companies. But perhaps Africa's greatest attraction lies in its vast natural resources. From oil and gas to rare minerals, the continent is a treasure trove of untapped riches. These resources not only fuel African economies, but also represent a vital source of supplies for global economies seeking energy security and raw materials. At this crucial moment, Africa is at a crossroads. The continent has the potential to become the next frontier of global growth, driving prosperity not only for its own citizens, but also for the world at large. According to the European Union website, Extensional Action, in 2020 the following question was addressed. Why is Africa important, and why should the European Union invest more in European Union-Africa relations? Africa is very important for a fundamental reason. Our political, economic, and security future is at stake. Instability in Libya, the Sahel, or Somalia affects our security. From a demographic and economic point of view, we will have to build our future, for better or for worse, in Africa, and this for several reasons. We are the main partner on this continent. We were in the past and continue to be in many sectors, but we face more and more competition. As Europe faces unprecedented internal challenges, its turn towards Africa is not just a response to the crisis, but a strategic move to secure its position on the global stage of the 21st century. Several reasons drive this shift in focus, each highlighting the growing importance of the African continent to European interests such as economic diversification. With Europe's traditional markets reaching saturation levels and economic growth stagnating in many countries, European companies are desperately seeking new expansion opportunities. Africa, with its growing middle class and ever-increasing demand for high-quality products and services, emerges as fertile ground for economic growth. Investing in Africa is not just a matter of diversification, but also a strategy to ensure the sustainability and competitiveness of European companies in an ever-changing global market. Access to natural resources. In a world where access to natural resources is critical to economic survival, Africa offers a treasure trove of opportunities for Europe. The continent is home to a significant part of the global reserves of mineral resources, oil, and gas, providing Europe with a reliable source of essential raw materials for its industries. Ensuring access to these resources is crucial for Europe's energy security and economic competitiveness on the global stage. Migration containment. The migration crisis that has been plaguing Europe for years is a constant source of political and social tension. Investing in Africa, especially in economic development and job creation projects, is seen as an effective way to address the underlying causes of irregular migration. By creating sustainable economic opportunities in its home countries, Europe seeks to reduce pressure on its borders and mitigate the challenges associated with mass migration. Strategic partnerships. In addition to the direct economic benefits, Europe is seeking to strengthen its diplomatic and strategic relations with African countries. Investments in infrastructure, education, and training aim to not only boost Africa's socio-economic development, but also create closer and more lasting ties between the two continents. These strategic partnerships are fundamental to promoting global stability and cooperation, as well as reinforcing Europe's influence on the international stage.